Hello everyone, welcome back. If you've heard me speak before, you know I try to make it as easy as possible and as simple as possible. I try not to use terms that are too difficult to understand. So tonight we will be covering basic site optimization, plugins, all-in-one SEO plugin, Google Analytics and Search Console, local SEO, and I got a bunch of little good stuff, tips, tricks, so keep an eye for those little tips. Okay, so a couple of search engine no-nos that I know everyone probably knows, but I like just to throw it out there to refresh because I see it all the time, and I even see it with different companies that do marketing. They practice this, and you shouldn't practice. Number one, we all know no keyword stuffing. And when I mean keyword stuffing, I mean there's so many forms of keyword stuffing. You ever see a site where at the bottom on the footer it has all the locations they service with links? That's keyword stuffing. Or you get to a landing page and the landing page is a page for a company in Danbury, Connecticut, and within the first paragraph they mention Danbury 10 times. Well, that's keyword stuffing. So you want it to be natural, speak to the audience, not for the search engines. Low quality links, of course, the link quality is very important. Don't ever pay an SEO company to get you links, period. Any company that claims they will get you links is pretty much taking your money. They can work on link building, but when you get a company that tells you, hey, I can get you 300 links for $20, don't go for it, because those are all low quality links. How do you get good quality links? There's many ways. You can get them from Chamber of Commerce's. You can get them from directories, citation sites such as Yelp, Yellow Pages. You can get them from, if you speak at a university, they'll put a link to your site, and that's the best link you can get is an EDU link or a government link. Poor user experience. I get a lot of potential clients who will call me and tell me I want to optimize the site. I'll go through their site. If it's a poor user experience, I'll either tell them you need to fix your site and change the user experience, or I can't work with you, because at the end of the day, if they're hiring me, I have to give them great results, and I'm not going to give them great results with a poor user experience. Old, irrelevant, and duplicate content. Google is now looking at this here big time. That's why now they want to see your CSS files and all your files, because if your content is old, for instance, if you have a schedule on your site and that schedule was from 3 weeks ago, when Google re-indexes your site, that's old content they're finding. Not only are they finding it, potential clients are finding that old content, and they go away from the site, and it's a bounce. Irrelevant, make sure your page speaks exactly what the keyword is about. So for instance, if my site is about dogs and I am speaking about dogs, I don't want my title tags or my content to talk about horses, because that's totally irrelevant from dogs. So keep everything relevant. And duplicate content. Google, WordPress, by default, with no one's fault, by default, tags and categories are duplicates. So there's ways to, and I'll show you how to do it, there's ways to make sure that Google doesn't count that as duplicate content. So a lot of times if you're blogging and you add 2 tags on it, or 10 tags, and you add categories, for every category and tag you add, that's a whole new page. Google considers that a new page. So that's all duplicate content. You want to stay away from that. Improper name, address, phone number for Google Local and the local stack pack. You want to make sure that across all networks, your name, address, and phone number is exactly the same. I will touch more onto that. Google My Business, you better make sure you have a verified Google My Business account, because if you don't, you're going to fall way behind, and I will touch on that. So, how do I always start? You ask yourself 4 questions. First question, that's my grandson. First question you have to ask is, who are you? I know that's really simple to say, well, this is who I am. But you'd be surprised how many sites I see that when you get to the site, the homepage shows one thing, and as you're digging into the site, you're seeing something totally different. And I'll give you a good example. I have a client who does financial news. And when you go to the site, the entire site is news coming in about financial news. Little did I know that the actual site is really for end buyers and people in the financial back office operations, because it doesn't speak that language. So that can hurt your rankings, because Google's looking at your homepage and saying, oh, okay, this site's about this, but then as you dig into the site, you're talking about something totally different. One more example. I know a person who has a website, and they're a marketing company on their website, but when you click on one of the links, they're selling their Amazon products on their page, on their website within the site. So you don't want to do stuff like that. Where are you is very important. Make sure on your site you list your address. On the footer, put your address on there, because Google's looking at exactly where you're at. And why are you searching for this product? Think about what someone would type in to search for that product. Why are they searching for that product? And who are you trying to reach? So this is very important. You have to figure out who you're trying to reach. I'll give you another example. I have a client who, he's a big auto repair center, and they're a AAA repair center. They're not AAA towers. So before they came to me, they were trying to rank for AAA towing. Well, it turns out they don't do any towing. So when they came to me, their bounce rate was huge. By the way, if anyone doesn't know what bounce rate is, it's when someone goes on your site and they just go to your homepage and then leave. They don't visit any. So that's a bounce rate. So that, and the higher your bounce rate, the lower your rankings. So yeah, so it was totally irrelevant to what their service was. So there are different types of keywords, and this to me is the biggest mistake, and I mean SEO companies, marketing companies, web design companies, do-it-yourselfers. This is the biggest mistake they do, not identifying the proper keywords. So let's go through it real quick. So you have broad and popular. So WordPress, of course, is a broad and popular keyword. If I did a search for WordPress, I would get WordPress.com. I would get more stuff here, you know, all about WordPress itself. So if you're trying to rank, I'll give you an example. If you're trying to rank for marketing, or let's say social media marketing, and your SEO on your page says social media marketing, your title tag says social media marketing, your meta description says social media marketing, you're most likely not going to rank, and you're going to keep saying, gee, I did everything right. Why am I not ranking? Because you're just using social media marketing. Where? Are you in California? Are you in Europe? Where are you? I'll give you another niche. Here's a keyword, WordPress SEO. So when you look at WordPress SEO for this keyword, here you get different blog posts all about WordPress SEO. So if I'm trying to rank as a WordPress SEO agency or an expert, I'm not going to use WordPress SEO, because that's really not going to help me. Now think about this as for your business. Keep in mind, if you sell marketing services, if you sell digital marketing, don't rank just for digital marketing, because you're never going to rank. Long tail keywords. This is a little better. So now you're getting there. So WordPress SEO New York City. So someone's looking for WordPress SEO in New York City. Of course, I rank on top. I rank number 2. I rank number 4. But it's still not 100%. And why? Because the way search is going, everyone's looking very detailed, exactly, it's very targeted for what they're looking for. So if I'm looking for WordPress SEO in New York City, I may be looking for a WordPress SEO company or an agency, which will get, the results will be better, your rankings will go higher, and there's a trick to this, and I'm going to show you. So here, look. So WordPress SEO agency, New York City, right there again, number one. Mark Group's number one on that, and you got all, now this lists all the agencies, right? Has all these agencies. But here's what works best with this. Now that I have WordPress SEO agency New York City, I can do WordPress SEO New York City, WordPress SEO agency, WordPress agency New York City. So from that one keyword, I can pull out 4 or 5 keywords. So that's why you want to go after long tail keywords. And always go after long tail keywords. Can't stress that enough. WordPress SEO settings. I think everyone here pretty much knows their SEO settings, but I do want to touch on 2 topics on WordPress SEO settings. The first one is your update services. If you're a blogger, the lady in the back had a question about blogging for SEO, how she could get more traffic. Here's how. If you're a blogger, you go to your writing settings. By default, Ping-O-Matic is there. Ping-O-Matic is owned by Automatic, who owns WordPress. And what this does, every time you publish a blog post, it notifies 20 different services that your blog post was published, and it pings them and lets them know so they can then take your blog post and distribute it through their networks. Ping-O-Matic has 20. There are over 200 that go out. You have everything from feeds to news feeds to AOL to Yahoo to Bing. There is a list with over 200. If you email me, I can give you that list. I didn't put it on here because you wouldn't have been able to see the list anyway. But you want to make sure you add that list on here. And your discussion settings. Make sure this, comments must be manually approved, is always on. Never leave it off. And everyone knows why, right? Because someone's going to start commenting and they're going to slip in their URL in there that has nothing to do with your site. And believe me, when someone comments and they have a site that's irrelevant and you're looking at your blog post and, oh, right, I got a comment. And you don't realize that they didn't care what you were writing about because they just wanted their backlink. And your site might be about marketing or mommy site, and they own a porn site or something worse. And they're getting a link back, which is going to hurt you in your rankings. And the third thing is your general settings. Make sure your time is set to whatever region you're in. So make sure it's New York if you're in New York, or East Coast. Because by default, it's California time, so you'll be 3 hours behind. Plugins. Now, there was a time that I would tell people, make sure you add the Google Analytics plugin. Make sure you add the XML sitemap plugin. Make sure you add the Robots.txt plugin. Keep in mind that the more plugins you add to your site, the slower your site's going to run. And now Google's really looking at your site speed. So you try to minimize the amount of plugins. I'll mention some plugins in here. I'm going to leave out the major plugins for a reason. And I probably use just one of these plugins. So Broken Link Checker is pretty cool because you download this plugin and it'll let you know where all your broken links on the site are. But here's the other part to it. You don't have to download this plugin. You could go online, do a search for Broken Link Checker. There's a couple of websites out there. You put your URL and it'll do the same exact thing. But if you want it on there, so just, it's quick. Redirection plugin. This will redirect. This is the one I use. It'll redirect any pages. So let's say you have a blog post and you wrote a blog post, but you made an error, mistake, and you want to change the title or the URL, and you do another blog post, or you have a blog post about Christmas and now you delete it. It's still in Google's world, right? So index. So that becomes a 404 error. You download this plugin and you redirect it to the home page or the other blog post you had. WP Super Cache, it's exactly what it says. It caches your site faster. But here's the downside to this. If you have a custom built website, many times that site can break using this plugin. I know we've had sites where we install this plugin and all of a sudden there's a major problem and it turns out it's that plugin. But yeah, or W3, yeah, yep. SEO friendly images. What this does, it adds alt tags to your images, and alt tags are keywords that are embedded within the image. But what this does pretty cool is, let's say you have a website about cars, and your page is about tires, car tires, and you have an image of a car. SEO friendly images will recognize that image with the page, and it'll create the alt tag for you, which will be tires for cars. So it'll do that for you. So that's pretty cool. So a couple of SEO plugin tips. I know there are many, many SEO plugins, and I use many different SEO plugins. But we must always remember a couple of things. One, how to use your SEO plugin determines the success. Only you can optimize a website. And what that means is, if you're using a particular SEO plugin, no matter what, you can put, and we're going to play a little game here in a little bit. You can put a search term on that plugin and you optimize it. And if that search term is what I mentioned before, that's a niche search term, let's say WordPress SEO, you're not going to rank no matter what you did with that SEO plugin. And you're going to say, why am I not ranking? I'm supposed to rank because I have the SEO plugin. So it's not about the plugin, it's how you use the plugin. And there are plugin sites out there. They will tell you that if you add their plugin, their SEO plugin, you'll get tons of traffic. That's not so. We all know that just because you added a plugin, you're not getting traffic. Don't take page analysis and SEO suggestions for granted. More and more plugins are doing this. What they're doing is you're putting in the keywords into the fields for the title tags and meta description on the page, and it's telling you, oh, this is good enough, but you might want to do this, you might want to add this to the page, you don't have enough keywords, or it's not in your content. Don't take it for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. It's good to look at that as a refresher, but don't follow everything they tell you, because most of the time that plugin is not really telling you exactly what needs to be done. And I will show you examples. Always review, analyze, and edit. And what I mean by that, once you complete the page, after a month, after a few weeks, see if you're ranking. If you're not ranking, or if you're ranking on the second page, what you do is, now you go back in and edit that content and change it up a little bit, massage it so that you can see where you're going to rank next. And this, I call this ignore the lights. There are, and many more SEO plugins are doing it now, what we call the lights. And the lights are, you ever see a plugins that will tell you, you have a green light here, that means your page is optimized, that means your page is good. Ignore that. Make believe that does not exist, because that will screw up your SEO royally. The algorithm they put into that is totally off. And I'm going to play a little game right now, and I'm going to show you an example of that. So here's a client of mine. So whoever has a laptop, I want you to do something. This is my client, ronville.com. Okay? So here's a plugin that says, keyword, police harassment. It's telling me my article heading is 100%. Yes, it is. My focus keyword is there. It's in my page title, right? It's there. It's in my URL. It's in my URL here. Harassment, somewhere there. It's in my meta description, and it's in the content. So automatically, I'm going to say, yes, I did it. I finally got that page green, and I'm going to rank for it now. And now I sit and wait. Okay, so I want everyone who has a laptop to do a search on Google for police harassment. And let me know if you see ronville.com come up. First person to do it. You don't see them? Anyone else find them? Okay, so you don't see them on the first page. So now, number 13? Okay, the number 13. Now, here we go. So now I added New York City, NYC to it, and guess what this plugin is telling me? It's bad. It gave me a bad rating. Now do a search for police harassment NYC. Number one. They're number one. So what does that tell you? That tells you that had you listened to the plugin that told you this is good, you're waiting there for you to rank. But if you don't listen to it and you apply proper SEO techniques, you're going to rank no matter what this says. So whenever you're using, yeah, it's a longer tail keyword. So I can even put police harassment New York City, police harassment lawyers. The point is, do not base it on that. All right? And I see that a lot. There's a lot of discussion going on blogs, on forums, all about, hey, make sure you follow those rules.
So what do you do differently here? Obviously you got a lot of nodes there, but other than making it a longer tail keyword, what do you do differently?
Nothing but adding New York NYC. See, the way these plugins are working, and there's a lot of plugins doing this, it's this. This is how they figure out their algorithm. They're looking at police harassment. They want police harassment to be right here, right in the front. If you put police harassment here, it's not recognizing it. So because I have New York City here, it's telling me it's not there. It's also telling me it's not in the meta description. But if you look at my meta description, there's the word harassment, there's the word police, and there's the word NYC, New York City. These plugins do not pick that up. They pick it up based, they don't do the pure SEO, which is where you take your keywords and you spread them out. They want it to say police harassment. It has to be in the front, has to be in the front, has to be in the front. So make sure you don't follow that. So all-in-one SEO pack is what I use, and there's a reason why I use all-in-one SEO pack. So let me get started with that. First of all, the Pro Pack, the all-in-one SEO Pro Pack is very low cost, and it's very easy to use. It's the #1 most downloaded WordPress plugin in the world. So, I mean, that alone tells you something. You have unlimited downloads and use the plugin on as many WordPress sites as you want. So you pay one price and you use it on as many sites as you want. It has free lifetime upgrades. So anytime there's an upgrade, you don't have to pay extra. It's made in the USA. You know, it's made in the USA by a locally owned North Carolina business, Semper Fi. It allows you to use pure SEO techniques and structure, and here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is if you're using another plugin that tells you what I just showed you before, that's not pure SEO. You're just listening to that plugin and it's telling you, oh, it's all green, it's good. But this allows you to actually think and implement the SEO techniques and structure the right way.
It's the all-in-one SEO Pro Pack?
Well, you can use the Pro or you can use the free. But the Pro has some features I'm going to show you. And they have great support from their developers. This happened to me last week. Last week, I was using the SEO Pro Pack, and one of my clients who owns a pretty big e-commerce site had an issue with her crawl data. It was crawling the site at the wrong rate, so I had to change that. But I had a problem doing it because I had never done it via the all-in-one SEO Pro Pack. I had always downloaded the plugin that said the Robots.txt plugin. I decided to get rid of the plugin and use their version, but I was stuck. I reached out to all-in-one SEO Pro Pack, to their development team, and this really happened on Facebook. The developer tells me, I'm driving at the moment, but when I get to a stationary place, I'll get you the answer. When he got to the stationary place, not only did he get me the answer, 5 minutes later, he sent me an email explaining each step. How much better does that get? Or that you can reach out and they find you on Facebook and they respond on Facebook. So, yeah. So the Pro features. So there's the free feature and there's the pro. The pro feature has XML sitemaps. That's why I don't use the XML sitemap anymore. For those of you who don't know what an XML sitemap does, every site needs it. If you go to your site and let's say website.com / and you type in sitemap.xml, if you get a 404 error, you don't have a sitemap. You're not going to rank. You might rank, but not much. What it does, it allows Google to not only index your site, but to see what time and what date your pages were created so that it could index it faster. Then you have your social meta. This allows you to add your Facebook profile, your Twitter, Pinterest, because now Pinterest is capturing, marketing. Robots.txt, that's where I made the change. You don't need the Robots.txt. What Robots.txt does, for those of you who don't know, it gives certain permissions to WordPress, to Google from WordPress that allows it to index certain pages. For instance, you don't want Google to index your admin page. So by default, WordPress comes with a disallow WP admin. That's letting the search engines know, do not index my login page. So if you have an e-commerce site, you don't want your shopping cart indexed, you would create a disallow. And the file editor lets you edit your Robots.txt file. In most cases, you have to go into the FTP to go into that file and edit your Robots.txt file. The other thing it does is that Google came out with a bunch of changes. If you have a disallow if your WP includes, get rid of it because you're blocking Google from seeing all your files. They want to look at all your files, your CSS, JavaScript, whatever file you have, they want to see it. So make sure on any site. I think probably about 6 months ago you were allowed to do it, not anymore. Google says we want to see it all because they want to see if your site is old, irrelevant.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
If on your, by the way, to find your Robots.txt page, you go after the .com, you put Robots.txt, and you'll see your Robots.txt file. So if you have as a disallow, here, as a disallow, your Robots.txt has disallow WP includes, you have to get rid of it. You want to let Google, you want to allow Google to index the entire site. Then you have over here, it's an importer exporter. If you're using another SEO plugin and you want to use this, this will import all your settings, everything from SEO, so you don't have to start from scratch, and it'll implement it into your new pages. It has a video sitemap. It has a bad bot blocker, which is actually one of my favorite things on here, and I'll talk about it in a second. It has a performance indicator. It shows performance, and an image plugin is coming out very soon. So this here, the bad bot blocker. This is one of the most awesome things they came out with. So you ever go on Google Analytics and you notice that you have this, floatingsharebuttons.com. I think everyone has it on their Google Analytics now. You'll get that. You'll get another one that says SEO something from another site. Well, what this does is it hinders your results because these aren't real visitors. These are bots that are coming into your site. So when you're giving results to your clients and you're telling them, hey, this is what you have, and those numbers aren't accurate, it's hurting you because these bots are just scanning your site and increasing your bounce rate. So you want to block these. Now, through Google Analytics, you can block it. You filter it. You go right here. There's a spot right there on the right. I didn't show it, but you can filter it. It's a pain in the butt because you filter it, not your client. So while you filter it, when your client goes into their Google Analytics, they're not going to see it filtered. So how do you block it? With the bad bot blocker. You right here, you add those URLs here, you click enter, and it blocks it. It won't appear on Google Analytics at all.
I found that does block a lot of the ones that are actually trying to visit your site, but there's a lot of ones that actually don't visit your site and just fake the Google Analytics hits to Google directly. So I found that setting up a view that has the hostname filter is better to block everything.
There you go. All right. But for those who are not technically savvy like that, who don't know how to set all that out, this Yeah, I haven't had a problem with it. It's worked very well for my clients. Homepage settings, as you see, it's the same thing as other plugins where your title tag is here, your description is here, but you don't have that red, green telling you, and that really plays with your mind. When you see that red and green, it really does play with your mind. So that's why I love that. Your verification settings, you could add your Google Webmaster Tools, your Bing Webmaster Center, and your Pinterest site verification right there, and it verifies it. Excuse me 1 second. And index settings. So remember when I told everyone here before, bless you, when I told you that when you are blogging and you use multiple categories and you use multiple tags, that it becomes duplicate content? Well, if you go in here, right here, it'll tell you no index categories and no index tags. And there's a bunch of other stuff. And what that's actually doing is telling Google not to index those pages so that you don't get penalized.
What about archive pages?
Yep, it's in there. Archive pages also, you can block them. And it's got its own XML sitemap that follows the proper XML sitemap permalink structure. There's a lot of SEO plugins out there that their sitemap, and I don't remember how it goes, but it goes sitemap.gxz. You want it clean and friendly. It should always read sitemap.xml. If you're using one that has that sitemap GXZ or GYX, whatever it is, go into your Google Search Console and look at your sitemap, and more than likely you'll have a little yellow exclamation point telling you you have an error and a mistake that needs to be fixed. With that, I want to touch on Google Search Console, what was formerly Google Webmaster Tools. So the first thing, did anyone receive an email that looked like this? Anyone who has Webmaster, who here has Webmaster Tools verified on their site? Okay, for those who don't have Webmaster Tools, it's imperative that you verify your site with Webmaster Tools. And here's why, a couple things. Number one, you need to sync your Google Analytics. Is everyone here using Google Analytics? Yes? Okay. So number one, you need to sync your Google Analytics with Webmaster Tools, and I'll show you why. Number two, Google Search Console will find multiple crawl errors on your site. It'll actually show you and give you tips on how to fix it. It'll find if you have malware on your site. I mean, it does a bunch of different things. Search terms that are being used. So if you were on Webmaster Tools and you got an email like this from Google that it said it could not access your CSS and JS files, what that actually means is that you're blocking your WP includes or other CSS files. And Google sent this out about 2 months ago to anyone who is blocking their files. And that's how it should look, unless you have an e-commerce site. Then you're going to add other stuff to it. But for a simple site, user agent, that asterisk means all search engines. Disallow your admin, and always add your sitemap. See how I have my sitemap that says sitemap.xml? So you always add your sitemap. That's how it should read. Yes?
I mean, it's always telling me to do the www, the non-www. Is that all important?
It depends how you have it on. So if you have a site that it goes by www, but it also works without the www, I would look at how you have it set up on Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools. Because if you have it set up on Google Analytics as www, maybe you want to stay like that. You don't have to. It really doesn't hurt you. But yeah. So it depends. But here's how you test your. Here's another benefit to Webmaster Tools, or Search Console. They just changed it, so I keep saying Webmaster Tools. It has this Robots.txt tester. To make sure nothing's being blocked, all you do is click here on Test. Put the page in, you test. It'll tell you if it's blocked or not. If you want to see a live Robots.txt file in that top right corner in blue there, you click on that, it'll show you your Robots.txt file also. So that's a good thing. Here's another really great thing if you're a blogger or if you have a site. Oh, before I get to that, this is why you need to sync Webmaster Tools with Google Analytics. You ever go into your Google Analytics and you go to search engine optimization and queries and you get this? Well, that's actually telling you that you need to sync Webmaster Tools so that you can see what people actually type it in. Because if you go to queries and you have nothing here and you just have this, you don't know what people are using to find your site, what search terms they're using. So doing this and setting it up Webmaster Tools opens it up and allows you to see what everyone's searching for. Now, there is another one here that if you click on it, more than likely you'll see on the search term it says not provided. The reason it says not provided is because Google they actually do have privacy policies that says if you're logged into Google, whether you're using your Gmail or something else, what it's actually telling everyone, or you, is that we will protect your privacy and not allow anyone to see what your search term is. That's why it says not provided. So in order to see what's provided, you link it to Webmaster Tools, because of course there's ways around everything. If you went directly to Webmaster Tools, you could see what people are typing in as a search term. And one of my favorite things, fetch as Google. So I had a site, the client had the name of their URL, or the name of their site, all in lowercase. And they told me, Alex, whenever someone does a search for my blog post, the name of my company comes up in lowercase. I can't have that. My logo is all uppercase. So what did I do? I went here. I put in, right here, fetch and render. I put the URL. You don't put anything there. And I clicked on it. And what it did was it immediately notified Google to make that change. I refreshed my Google search, and everything was in caps. It does it on the fly. Doesn't work all the time, but it eventually will work. Another great use of this, if you have a blog post that you did and you decided, oops, I posted it, I need to change my title. You put the blog post URL here, you hit fetch and render, and voila, Google will come up with the proper title. So that works really well. I love this too. People tell me, wow, how'd you do that? That's magic. It's the fetch. You fetch it. Okay, we're going to touch a bit on local SEO. I know this is, all right, I'm on target. Local SEO. So local SEO is huge. So I'm going to do something right now. And just to show you how different Google is doing everything. So if I go to Google, and this is why you need your long tail keywords. Let me find my Google. So where are you, Google? So I go to Google, and I tell Google that I want to find a restaurant, Italian restaurant with outdoor seating. All right, so here we go. Let's clear this up. Google, find me an Italian restaurant with outdoor seating.
Here are the listings for Italian restaurant with outdoor seating.
So now it shows me all the restaurants with outdoor seating. That's all part of the local SEO. And believe me, when I tell you about micro moments, you're going to see how Google is totally changing the game with their knowledge graph. So let's start with what you need. Here are the ranking factors. This is very small, but I made it bigger on the other page. So your business signals, your categories are important. External links, on-page signals. It's hard to see it. Review signals. Reviews are very important. Local search signals. But you know what? Let me go to the next page because I have it broken down. Okay, but let me show you this. So there's two different types of local SEO. There's the organic SEO, which is when you do a search for, let's say, web design in Brewster, New York. You come up on the search immediately, right? Or if you do an Italian restaurant in Brewster, New York, they appear here in the search result. That's local organic SEO. So here are the ranking factors, and I'm giving you 8. There's a lot more than, there's over 40 ranking factors. Domain authority of the website. How old is your website? If it's a new site. Now, although they say domain authority, I've taken brand new sites that are new, and within weeks they're ranking for local SEO. But that's also very important. Quality and authority of inbound links to the domain. That's why I say do not buy links. It's very important that the quality is good quality. Good quality are citations, which are directories, and chamber sites, schools, government sites. Those are all good ones. Even, believe it or not, Craigslist is a great quality authority site. City, state, GMB stands for Google My Business landing page title. Your Google My Business title on your Google My Business page must be the same as your website title. So if we're MarkNet Group, and that's what we call ourselves, I can't now go on Google My Business and change it to MarkNet Group Incorporated, because now you have MarkNet Group and MarkNet Group Incorporated. Has to be same across all networks. Your click-through rate from search results is now a ranking factor. So if someone goes to your site and they click on it, the more clicks you get to your site, not the higher you're going to rank, but it's a great signal to increase your rankings. So that's why it's important that when someone clicks on your site, that keyword better match exactly what they're looking for. Because if it doesn't match, then it's going to be a bounce rate. Your geographic keyword relevance of domain content. And that's what I was, when I said before that make sure you go after long tail keywords, make sure you add the city you're going after on your keyword. Your physical address in city of search, make sure you have your physical address listed on your site. Now, for those sites that have multiple addresses and multiple locations, one way to beat that is if you create a page that says locations, and then on that page you list a link with the different locations, the landing page for those locations. When someone clicks on that link, it takes you to a page for that specific location. I'll give you an example. I have a client who owns junk recycling. They're like 1-800 junk recyclers. They're all over Danbury. They're all over Connecticut, everywhere. Stamford, Danbury. So if you did a search for junk recycling in Stamford, Connecticut, they appear on top of Google. If you did a search for junk recycling in Darien, Connecticut, they appear on top of Google. Why? Because they listed their locations and they have a page specific for that location. Sure. So quality and authority and consistency of structured citations. Structured citations are directories like Yelp, City Search, Yellow Pages, White Pages. And make sure you add the city or state. You don't have to add the state, you can add the city, unless there's a city that's similar, like Greenville, I think South Carolina. There's Greenville, New York also. And so make sure you keep an eye on that, and you want to put that on your title tag. Okay, so then so that was local organic SEO, and then there's the local 3-pack SEO, which to me is even more important, because Google's doing what's known as what would mobile do. So whatever happens on mobile is now happening on desktop. So when you do a search for web designer in Brewster, New York, let's say, MarkNet Group comes up right here, right? We're there, our competitors are below. That's exactly how it comes up on your phone. When you have your phone out and now you want to call the company, there's a button that says call now or get directions. That happens because of your local 3-pack. So in order for you to appear on local 3-pack, there are a number of things you need to do. If you notice, we have reviews, our phone number, MarkNet Group, and I'll show you how to do this. So there are many, many factors. Here are 9. Physical address in city of search is extremely important. So, all right, who's got the phone? Okay, so physical address in city of search, very important. Consistency and quality of structured citations, just like local. And when I mean consistency, again, if you're MarkNet Group, don't call yourself MarkNet Group Incorporated somewhere else. Proper Google My Business category associations. Make sure you choose the right category for your business. There are many categories. And by the way, my next presentation, I'm going to dive even deeper into this, how to find the proper categories, where to look for there are sites that will give you the proper categories. Okay. Proximity of address to the point of search. Google looks at that. I have clients who will tell me, how come I'm not showing up on the 3-pack in Stanford? Well, you're not in Stanford, you're in New York. So, so you're not going to show up. Of course you're not going to appear. Domain authority, of course. Product and service keyword in Google My Business title, which I will show you where that belongs. So if we're a web design firm, we're not going to call ourselves an internet marketing service, although we could, because we do also do that. But our core business is web design, so you have to choose one or the other. So, and you also, you do keyword research and see which one works best for you in terms of getting traffic to your site. City, state, and Google My Business landing page title. Make sure you have that. And HTML, name, address, phone, matching Google My Business location, name, address, phone. What that really means is that HTML is your website. Your website on the footer where you have your address, make sure it's the same on your Google My Business page. I've seen many Google My Business pages that they have their website, but they're listing their home address for some reason on the website, yet on Google My Business, they're using their virtual office address, because there's a lot of the, those water cooler type of offices now. Quantity of native Google reviews. This to me is huge, because you want those reviews. You want to ask people for reviews. You need the reviews, because believe me, it's more catches the eye when people see the stars. And by the way, with the reviews, once you have 5 reviews on Google My Business, once you have those 5 reviews, Google will automatically add the star rating to your search results. Anything under that, they won't add it. So here's a Google My Business page. So just real quick, I'm going to touch. You want to use one Gmail address for everything. I've seen clients who, all right, so first of all, you don't want to use a personal Gmail address, because what can happen, your SEO guy or your developer might need to get into your Gmail address, and you don't want them reading your emails, right? So you want to keep a Gmail address just for your business, and you want to use that. When I mean across everything, I mean for your Google My Business page, for Google Analytics, for Google Webmaster Tools, for YouTube, one account where you keep everything. And once you do that, when you go to your Google My Business page, you will have your Google Analytics results here. You will have reviews, insights of how many people visited your Google My Business page.
Does it have to be a Gmail address if you
Yes.
If you use your own domain?
Well, if you use your own domain and it's a Google, thank you, Google Business address, where you do it through Google and you use your own. For instance, MarkNet Group, we run through Gmail, but my email address is amiranda@marknetgroup.com. I can use that because but keep in mind, if you have someone working on your site and they need to get into that site, and sometimes just having admin permissions is not enough, they actually need, they actually need to get into your site, they're going to read they can read if they wanted to, your emails and your correspondence. And you might be speaking badly about them and say, they really stink and I don't like what they're doing, and they're reading this and they're like, oh yeah? So I always tell my clients, create a Gmail address for all your things. You want to verify your page? Make sure you verify it. If you have that little green mark up here, it says verified, your page is verified. If your page is not verified, you can forget about appearing in the local pack. It needs to be verified. And how do you verify it? When you start creating this page, they ask you for an address, physical address. They send you a postcard, and then you put the 5-digit code that they sent to that postcard. Okay, ask for reviews. Reviews are very, very important. Here's a tip. You want to, once a month, go into your business information, or once every other month, edit it, change it around. Google likes fresh content, even on their Google My Business page. So I get clients that tell me, man, I did everything right. And I said, did you edit your content? No. Within a few weeks, they start going higher because Google wants, yes, sir.
If you created a bunch of fake Gmail accounts or email accounts and gave
No,
yourself
you can't do it.
good reviews, they'll find
You can't,
out.
yeah, they track your IP address, and then they'll delist it.
Look up JCPenney.
Yeah. Yes.
What would be the most advantageous way to edit your business info then? Like just,
Go to your Google My Business page, and there's a,
but in what respect? Like put the phone number where the address was?
Oh, I'm sorry. On the summary of your business, like we are an internet marketing firm, and we offer WordPress SEO, change it around. Say we're a web development firm in New York. Yeah, change it around. You want to change your content around.
Now, I noticed brands also, so there's some that have places that have an address, but others are just a brand.
Right, there's brand pages and there's local pages. So brand pages you cannot verify. So you'll know if you have a brand pages, if you're looking where to verify it and you can't find it, you have a brand page. You want to create a Google local page. And I'll show you how to get help with that in a second. You want to add pics. Make sure you add pictures, because if you don't add pictures, when you appear on the Google infograph, what it's now called a Google infograph, there's going to be an image from Street View, Google Street View. So it might be an image of the building next to you. That's a pizzeria. You know what I mean? So make sure you add images. So here's one. If you're confused about your Google My Business page, call this number, 866-246-6453. First thing they're going to ask you, and there's a way around it, they're going to ask you for your AdWords account number. Ignore it. Wait till it asks the third question, which is, if you're interested in help with Google My Business, press 3. That's what you do. Someone will get on the phone and you explain your problem. They're going to ask you a couple of questions about your business. What they'll actually do is, you have to do it from your business location, because they're going to want to call your business location to make sure you're that business. They will tell you step by step what to do while you're on the phone with them. I mean, they'll walk you through the whole thing. They'll tell you, here's what you need to do. And if you're not appearing like this, so if you type in your name, your business name, whatever business name it is, on Google, if you don't see this, that's the infograph. If you don't see this, then you're doing something wrong. Call them. They'll literally walk you through it and tell you, refresh your page, you'll see it now. Refresh your page, you'll see it now. And they will do it within minutes. It's incredible how it works. They're like, okay, you see it now, because it happened to us. We had too many Google Plus pages for different locations, and then we kept everything into one location, so it stopped appearing. And I said, wait a minute, it's not appearing anymore. I called them up. They said, oh, hold on 1 second, and voila, it was done. So how great is it to have review? Yes?
Sorry, how do you change the address on that? How do you get them?
Yeah, you call them and tell them. Yep, call them. Call them is the easiest thing to do. So how great is having reviews? So over here we have 9 reviews, right? And the first thing, someone's looking for SEO, bam, the first one. Alex Miranda did a fantastic job with SEO, blah, 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 blah. So someone sees that and they're like, oh, wow, okay. Also appearing on Google Maps. So if you go to Google Maps, you have this. And it shows the location, and so you want to appear on Google Maps. You want to make sure Google has your correct directions. Check the directions they have, because I've had many clients who, they're appearing on Google Maps, yet when someone punches into directions on Google, it gives them a different direction. So how do you fix that? You use the Google Map Maker to fix issues. You can literally move this little balloon, you can move it over. You can move it over and then you tell Google why you moved it. Or you can call the number. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to mention, and then the presentation's over, is the next frontier in mobile. It's micro moments. So a micro moment is a mobile moment that requires only a glance to identify and deliver quick information that you can either consume or act on immediately. So for instance, if I moved to this area, I'm new to the area, and I want to find a gym because I work out and I run. I want to find a fitness gym. It finds you ask Google to find a fitness gym, and what appears above the fitness gym will be sneakers, running sneakers. So now I can order running sneakers. If you're at the drugstore, let's suppose you're at the drugstore and you need to get some type of medication for whatever the reason it is, but there's 2 different medications, you don't know which one to choose. And we've all done it. You pick up your phone, or if you're buying a stereo, if you're buying a TV, you pick up your phone and you want to read the reviews. Those are all micro moments happening instantly. And check this out. So the I want to know moments. 65% of online consumers look up more information online now versus a few years ago. 66% of smartphone users turn to their phones to look up something they saw in a TV commercial. Haven't we all done that? Oh, let me look that up. I do it all the time. Want to go moments. 2 times increase in near me searches in the past year. Restaurants near me, this near me, that near me. 82% of smartphone users use a search engine when looking for a local business. I want to do moments. 91% of smartphone users turn to their phones for ideas while doing a task. We all do it. 100 million plus hours of how-to content have been watched on YouTube so far this year. Make sure you have YouTube videos. I want to buy moments was what I just described. 82% of smartphone users consult their phones while in a store deciding what to buy. And 29% increase in mobile conversion rates in the past year based on that. So if you have an e-commerce site, look up micro moments. Google has a whole section on it. Learn micro moments. If you're a marketing company, start learning about micro moments because it's going to get really big. So the rest is to be continued because I don't want to keep going because I have so much information I could be here for 8 hours. So that's to be continued. So there is an all-in-one SEO pack 50% coupon code that I have. If you email me directly, and it's for people here, I'll send you the link with the coupon code, and you'll get a huge discount on it, and I mean huge. Less than half price, actually. And here's my information, if anyone wants to take it. If you're on Twitter, please give me a shout out and say thank you for the great job. I love shout outs on Twitter.